Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first. Sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
After temperatures warmed into the 80s earlier this afternoon, clear skies is allowing many spots to already fall back down into the low 70s and into the upper 60s. Those temperatures will continue to fall even a bit further from where they are now, down into the lower 60s for many of us underneath the continued clear skies. Earlier today, we did have a few very isolated showers that were trying to develop, but many of those have since cleared out of the region underneath now continued clear skies later and later into the day. Temperatures will continue to fall back down into the low 60s, as I mentioned, but increasing rain chances as we head into early tomorrow morning, followed by more of those as we go over the next few days. I'll time them out for you coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
One Janesville man is arrested for being intoxicated behind the wheel. We recap the pursuit by police to finally land him in custody. Plus, the 4th of July might be over, but that doesn't mean we can't have a patriotic barbecue, the one organization grilling for a cause. And hundreds of state liners are in the Forest City to check out some sweet rides. The car show bringing together people and coffee.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 10.
Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. I'm Jess Liptzin. Thanks for being here. A Janesville man is in custody for his 4th OWI offense. This comes after a late-night chase by police. Kyle Connery was arrested at a gas station on East Milwaukee Street. Earlier in the night, around 10 p.m., a Janesville officer turned on a vehicle leaving a house on the 400 block of South Jackson Street. According to police, the car left at a high-rate speed. The same officer later spotted the vehicle driving west on East Racine Street near Garfield Avenue. There was an attempted traffic stop, however, the vehicle fled. The officer later arrested Connery at a gas station. He was taken to the Rock County Jail. Grilling out for a good cause, a Rockford business hosted a post-patriotic cookout this afternoon, serving up burgers and taking donations. Our Blake Dietz was there to learn more about the meaning behind the meat.
My nephew's in Chicago, we're doing Italian beef.
Motorcycles weren't the only thing for sale at Kegel Harley-Davidson as the store staff put together a cookout benefiting the Wounded Warrior Project.
Usually we do something for the 4th of July, and since it was during a weekday, we figured let's have a cookout on the 6th. And this time we're raising money for the Wounded Warrior Project because Adam Sandoval is coming here later this month, and his whole convoy, what they do is they raise money for the Wounded Warrior Project. They ride all around the country. I think this year they're doing 30 dealerships. Last year they did 120. We're raising money for that.
The project is a nonprofit for veterans and active duty service members, providing mental health and career counseling, long-term rehabilitative care, and advocacy. Gaston says the motorcycle community is especially close to veterans, making this a perfect opportunity.
Well, a lot of our riding community has veterans in it and people that have served. So again, kind of goes along with that with helping our servicemen and those that have fought. And
plenty of veterans came on motorcycle to enjoy the food, and Gaston expects many more before the day is up.
So we had quite a good crowd. Like I said, we already went through 50 within the first hour, and I still got about another hour to go and 50 more burgers to cook up. So hopefully we'll go through all of them today.
Reporting in Rockford for your home team, I'm Blake Dietz.
A downtown Rockford favorite took place today. Cars and Coffee brings out the community for, well, Cars and Coffee. It's held at the RPS 205 Administration Building, where hundreds of cars line the streets and parking lots showing off the hot rides. The event is sponsored by Katie's Cup. Anyone can register to be a part. Around 600 spectators show each event. Those getting a chance to show off their cars hope to be an inspiration for future car owners.
We've been coming out, it's the first Saturday of every month. This is our second year of coming out consistently. It's an amazing turnout. This is 400, almost 500 cars, so this is pretty cool. It's the best show in the area. We've got the Lamborghini. This is our second year with it now. It's the car that I always wanted when I was growing up. It was what we had the posters hanging on the wall. And it's really cool to be able to show it off to people and let all the other kids see that it's possible to get it.
The event's held on the first Saturday of every month, with Next Cars and Coffee taking place August 3rd. There'll also be one in September and October as well. Many Rockford families spent the day riding horses and enjoying some nature. Lockwood Park held their weekly Fun on the Farm. There were tractor wagon rides and activities for the whole family to enjoy. Horseback riding trails highlighted the event with 45-minute guided walks through the woods of the park. Hands on a Pony also took place, giving kids a chance to meet and pet one of the big animals. The event will be every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., barring weather. Fireworks and skydivers, no, not at the same time, but both entertaining the crowd at the Rochelle Flight Deck. The part of the 4th of July week festivities, the skydivers from all over the world took place in the show. We've been looking at the Skytrack camera all day long, seeing the crowd slowly gather, as you can see right here on your TVs. Just a gorgeous day outside for the event. Skydivers say it was a blast.
Great way to enjoy a beautiful day, enjoy your whole summer. So we've got like belly flyers, we've got high performance flyers, we've got free flyers. They're all falling at different speeds in the air. Different size canopies coming in. Some are coming faster than others. This is our landing area. So everybody's just landing from a great jump.
The skydiving concluded around 8 o'clock and fireworks went off at 9. Seems like a cool way to end the holiday festivities. If you're looking for tips on how to save money, and who isn't these days, the AARP has some advice, from when to avoid shopping for clothes to trying to get the neighborhood discounts from contractors. Fox's Heather Sullivan takes a look.
AARP has dropped its 15th annual list of 99 great ways to save. You've probably heard not to grocery shop when you're hungry, but you shouldn't shop for clothes when you're hungry either. A University of Minnesota study found hungry shoppers wanted 70% more products.
People who are shopping for clothes and they're hungry are more prone to impulse buys.
AARP also found it's better to wait until winter to take on home improvement projects.
It's better to wait because then the contractors are really looking for work at that time. So not only will they give you their full attention, but you might also just get a savings as a result.
They suggest neighbors can save by hiring the same gardener.
To come to your neighborhood, service several homes at once, it saves them time, and they just may give you a discount as a result.
AARP says consider buying refurbished electronics like cell phones.
Typically, these resale places offer a warranty to back up a used cell phone, and you can save hundreds of dollars off of a cell phone.
They say move your money from a savings account to a high-yield account.
If your savings account is still at 1%, banks are now offering 4 to 5%. And it's a great way to really have your money work harder for you.
And the best date to buy a plane ticket for Christmas travel?
You want to book your travel by early October. According to Google data, flights are cheapest 71 days out from your departure day. So go ahead and mark your calendar now to make sure that you can lock in those savings for your holiday travel.
That was Fox's Heather Sullivan reporting. Hundreds of tourists stranded in Cancun flocked to the city's international airport this morning to reschedule their flights and return home after Hurricane Beryl hit the Mexican coast. Travelers crowded in front of airline check-in counters to get flights after more than 300 flights were canceled. Tourists waited in long lines in corridors for their flight as the airport slowly returned to operational mode today.
Friday was obviously scary. Thursday night, scary. But the hotel did an amazing job of preparing the hotel and the guests for whatever was to come, and kept us fed and kept us safe. And it was great.
Tropical storm Beryl passed over Mexico's top beach destinations on Friday, bringing strong winds and heavy rain. Officials say there is no major damage after forging a deadly trail of destruction across the Caribbean. Mexico reported 0 casualties as a result of Hurricane Beryl. The Civil Protection Agency said this on Friday. One woman is breaking barriers and changing tires. On the other side, we take a look at one remarkable woman making history in NASCAR.
And after a mostly dry day in the state line, we have scattered rain chances for the next few days straight. I'll time out when we can see the most widespread rain and when we can see some dry time coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Jess Liptzin, Drew Collins, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
As in any high-speed racing event, the tires need changing. And there's one pit crew member of note in the Chicago NASCAR race that went on this weekend. Not only is this pit crew member a woman, she's the first African-American woman to change those tires for NASCAR. WGN's Judy Wang caught up with her.
I wasn't really intimidated at all. You know, if anything, the guys were looking at me and was like, she's not serious, you know, she's not gonna be doing this long.
On pit road, she's a barrier breaker.
They're like, wait, what, you changed tires for NASCAR? You're a professional tire changer? I'm like, yeah.
It takes speed, strength, agility. So what's the fastest you've ever changed a tire?
So for 5-leg, taking the 5-leg nuts off, my coach timed me at a 0.85, so under a second.
Few women have made the cut. In 2017, Brianna Daniels became the first African-American woman to become a member of a NASCAR pit crew. Daniels was a point guard on Norfolk University's basketball team when NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program visited campus to recruit.
I went to the tryout, and I ended up doing a really, really good job in that first tryout, and then got invited to the National NASCAR Drive for Diversity Pit Crew Combine, and I was out of the 10 people that got selected, I was one of those 10.
Daniels aced the tryout and underwent a 6-month training program, even though she had never watched a race.
The most that was on my TV was for like a few seconds if I was looking for like a NBA game or an NFL game to watch, but I'd never watched NASCAR.
7 years later, the Virginia Beach resident is inspiring NASCAR's next generation.
Representation matters, you know. Maybe there's little brown boys, little brown girls who always wanted to be a part of the sport, and now they see somebody in the sport who looks like them, you know. My favorite part is when parents send me pictures and videos of their kids sitting in front of a tire, and then they're like, look at them, look at my daughter and my son trying to be like you, changing tires. That's my favorite part.
That was Judy Wang reporting. It's been a much drier day out there than yesterday. When we return, meteorologist Jordan Wolf will tell us if we'll see any rain chance for the rest of the weekend, as well as temperatures for the week ahead.
And warm afternoon across the state line today, as well as across a pretty broad region as well. Temperatures across a pretty large area made their way into the 80s, including 83 in Chicago, 82 in Rockford, and many other spots in surrounding areas also into the low 80s or the upper 70s for those afternoon highs. We also had a couple of isolated showers that developed throughout the earlier part of the afternoon and lasted a little bit later into the evening, but things have since calmed down, giving us now clear skies as we head toward the overnight hours. Many spots have now seen their temperatures drop a little bit as well. We are down to 69 degrees in DeKalb as well as in Rockford, 70 in Janesville, 67 Rochelle and Freeport, 73 the warm spot right now in Monroe, Wisconsin. Our weather watcher Terry out in Genoa reporting 68 degrees along with a dew point of 64 and calm winds. Now, one thing to note about that is the calmer winds and the clear skies are going to allow those temperatures to fall very close to where those dew points currently lie, which is what we're expecting for many of those temperatures to fall to. SkyTrack camera overlooking Rochelle, now the aftermath of the fireworks down that direction with the story that we brought you earlier in the newscast. Still a pretty large crowd out there, even late into the evening, but the good news is that we are still holding on to those clear skies that we've seen. Temperatures are already falling down into the 60s for many of us, even pretty close to where we have forecast for 11 o'clock tonight, but will fall into the low 60s for the overnight hours before rebounding into the 70s early tomorrow morning. However, that does come with our next rain chances, mainly in the form of scattered rain to even a few storms that will develop. This will be along a pretty broad area of increasing moisture in the atmosphere. This is a map that shows precipitable water, which is basically just how much water there is in a vertical column of air. The higher the values you have, the more water that the atmosphere can then rain on any one given location. We see that moisture increasing through the region as we head toward Sunday night and into Monday, and that will be along a frontal boundary. A cold front will be passing through the region heading into Monday, and that will also bring us those increased rain chances throughout much of that time. At least the initial rain starts to move in early tomorrow morning. A couple of isolated to scattered showers moving in with even a rumble or two of thunder toward mid-morning. We do get some drier time for the afternoon before another round moves in toward the later part of the evening. And then we hold on to at least scattered chances throughout much of Monday as well, as we hold on to that cold front, as I mentioned, passing through the region. For Tuesday, that front will be mostly out, and that will eventually lead to more widespread to scattered storms, similar to what we saw yesterday. Then again, what we'll be expecting on Tuesday. For tomorrow, specifically though, for Sunday afternoon, 84 degrees, mostly cloudy skies and some scattered storms. The strongest cores of which likely could at least form some gustier winds, as well as maybe some lightning and some small hail as well, but not looking like anything too significant as far as severe weather is concerned. Now turning our eyes a bit further off to the south, Tropical storm Beryl starting to make its way a bit closer to the Texas coast. Currently a tropical storm, not quite hurricane strength, but it is encountering some very warm waters and expecting to rapidly intensify back into Category 1 or low-end Category 2 status before making landfall in Texas, where there are numerous tropical storm and hurricane warnings already having been issued. Locally here, we may see the rainfall from Barrow working a bit closer to the region toward the middle and end of the week, but in the meantime, 84 degrees for Sunday, 80 on Monday, scattered chances for storms throughout that time before we see temperatures starting to warm back up into the mid and close to upper 80s toward next weekend.
All right, thanks, Jordan. Scott's in next with sports. First big NASCAR race of the weekend in downtown Chicago went off without a hitch. We'll see who took the checkered flag. And the Cubs bats went back into the tank today against the Angels.
Last year, rain put a bit of a damper on the first NASCAR weekend of racing on the streets of Chicago. That wasn't the case today, and it shouldn't be tomorrow. Today, conditions were ideal for the Xfinity Series race, the Loop 110. The racers took 50 laps around the streets past some of Chicago's biggest landmarks, and they might have to put up a statue of Shane Van Gisbergen. He won the Cup race in Chicago last year, and today he was again the first across the finish line on Columbus Drive. There's SVG, and he's going to be back on those streets tomorrow afternoon for the Cup race, the Grant Park 165. His thing is kicking a rugby ball after winning. He is from New Zealand. Now, at Wrigley Field, it was a slower pace for the Cubs game against the Angels. Kyle Hendricks was the Cubs starting pitcher. He had to leave with lower back tightness after only 2 innings. He gave up 2 runs. Angels pitcher Tyler Anderson owned the Cubs. He strikes out Patrick Wisdom and then Cody Bellinger. Anderson struck out 10 in 8 scoreless innings. The Cubs only managed 4 hits and they lost 7-0. The White Sox had Garrett Crochet on the hill in Miami. The American League's pitcher of the month for June was bringing 99-mile-per-hour heat as usual. He strikes out Jazz Chisholm Jr. and then Ali Sanchez. But the Sox are watching Crochet's innings and pitch count closely. He was pulled after 4 innings and 93 pitches. He gave up 2 runs with 5 strikeouts. Michael Soroka was on in the 7th inning, and he served up that 2-run homer to Dane Myers. And that carried the Marlins to a 4-3 win. Soroka's record dropped to 0-9. The Rivets had their 4-game winning streak snapped tonight in Rochester. They lost to the Honkers 4-3. The boys are home tomorrow afternoon to host Waterloo. It's looking like DeMar DeRozan could be suiting up for the Kings next season. He is in Sacramento this weekend to meet with Kings management. DeRozan's a restricted free agent, and the Bulls are expected to do a sign-and-trade deal, signing DeRozan and then dealing him to Sacramento if that's indeed where he wants to go. The Spurs are said to be the 3rd team involved in a 3-team deal if one happens. No word on what the Bulls might get in a trade, but it won't be much. They just want to be done with DeRozan's salary. Patrick Williams isn't leaving the Bulls. He has re-signed with the team reportedly for 5 years and $90 million. Here's another record for Caitlin Clark. Today, she became the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double. She had 19 points, 13 assists, and 12 rebounds from the Indiana Fever. The Fever upset the New York Liberty 83-78. Clark had 17 triple-doubles in her college days at Iowa. Through 3 rounds at the John Deere Classic in Silvis, Davis Thompson is the leader by 2 strokes. He's 21 under par. Eric Cole and Aaron Rai are tied for second at 19 under. Hayden Springer and C.T. Pan are tied for 4th at 17 under. That's sports. We'll be right back.
First Warn Interactive Radar from Rockford, Glass & Moore continuing to show the clear skies that we have for the rest of the night tonight following the passage of a couple isolated showers earlier this evening. Temperatures falling back down into the low 60s for those overnight lows. We are going to be back in the 80s as we head toward tomorrow and especially into tomorrow morning. We could see the rise of a couple of isolated showers and even a few storms embedded within as well. Those could continue Monday and then a little bit less in coverage as we head toward Tuesday.
That's our show. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.